The Finding Purpose podcast is proudly brought to you by Relive the Moments, founded by visionary entrepreneur John Lim. We live in a world where it's easy to capture memories, but Relive the Moments makes it effortless to re-experience and share them. From NFC-enabled tap coasters and photo frames to interactive video cards, Relive the Moments turns everyday objects into unforgettable tap-to-experience keepsakes. Imagine gifting a wedding guest a coaster that instantly opens your highlight reel, or giving your event sponsors a custom frame that tells your story with just one tap. Whether you're celebrating a milestone, planning a wedding, honoring a legacy, or elevating a brand experience, Relive the Moments is the bridge between the past and present, between memory and connection. It's not just a product, it's an experience. Visit www.relivethemoments.com and use promo code PURPOSE for 25% off your first order. Let's bring your memories to life, one tap at a time.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Finding Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Adam Vora, and I'm so grateful to have you here. This podcast is all about exploring the journeys of incredible individuals, people who have faced adversity, found their purpose, and are now making an impact in their communities. But it's also about my journey. Over the years, I've faced my own obstacles, moments of doubt, and struggles with identity. Through it all, I found my purpose in giving back, creating a space where people can detach from the negative emotions and stigmas they may associate with their own stories, just like I did with mine. Here, we have real conversations about growth, resilience, and transformation. Whether you're searching for direction, striving for personal development, or simply looking for a place to feel seen and understood, this is for you. So if these conversations resonate with you, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us on social media. Now let's dive into today's episode.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Finding Purpose podcast. I'm Adam, and I appreciate you for tuning in. Whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts or watching on the official YouTube channel of the Finding Purpose podcast, thank you for being a part of this community. If you haven't already, please subscribe, leave a review, and share. It helps us continue bringing these conversations to light. Last week's episode with Dr. Sean Altman took us deep into healing human performance and the science of helping the body restore itself. Today, we're shifting into a different kind of journey, one rooted in creativity, community, and purpose. Today's guest is Wilson Bryan Beltran.
Beltran.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
A creative entrepreneur and producer from Port Chester, New York, now living in Stamford, Connecticut. He leads operations at Space 67 Studios in Norwalk, where he brings photo, video, podcast, and music projects to life while building a creative community founded on connection and collaboration. And he's now preparing to open Lot 48, a brand new creator-first studio launching soon. Before stepping into the world of production, Wilson worked as a registered nurse, first in the ICU at Yale New Haven Hospital, and then in the emergency department at Greenwich Hospital. That background shaped the calm, grounded presence and purpose-driven mindset he carries into every project and every room. Through Space 67, Sounds, The Seed, and Notes Coffee Bar, Wilson uses his God-given gifts to connect people, cultivate creativity, and build experience that inspire. So I'm super grateful to have you here, first off, and just to provide everyone with a little bit of background on how we met. We were connected through our friend Marcel, who was actually on the podcast maybe like 3-4 episodes ago. And, super grateful for him connecting me with you because we're, hopefully in the process of building something as well. So love that you made it down here. I know how busy you are. I see the way you move. I see the way that you really give 100% to everything that you do. And so I absolutely had to have you here, man. But I do want to jump into your story because I didn't know you were from Port Chester, and I'm interested in hearing kind of the early life, Wilson, and what that was like. You talked about how you share the same name as your father. So let's go from there.
Well, You're good. Yeah, well, first off, Adam, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, excited to have this conversation with you. I know you've teed me up on what you do, what you talk about, and so kind of been having some thoughts, just marinating, and looking forward to this conversation here. Yeah, I'm originally from Portchester, which is not too far from Stamford. We're in Stamford now. I spent my whole life in Portchester, went to private Catholic school early years, ended up going to public high school in Portchester. So while I did grow up essentially in Portchester, I didn't really get plugged into like the majority, I guess, like the greater community or kids until later in life. I went to Holy Rosary School, which is a Catholic school. It was part of Holy Rosary Church, and that kind of folded in through the Archdiocese, like shifting stuff. It folded into, I think, what's now like Our Lady of Mercy, I believe. Did 2 years of high school in New Rochelle, and then final 2 years of high school in Portchester. What was that like? I mean, it's a mixing pot. It's like a melting pot of people. A lot of Hispanics. Yeah, more Hispanics, more blacks, less Caucasians. Definitely Italian presence for sure. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun time. It was definitely a fun time in Portchester High School. My youth years, I was a juvenile delinquent. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah. I had my fair share of suspension, detention. Definitely got picked up by the cops once or twice. Yeah, I was a bad boy. I was a really bad boy. Even growing up in Catholic school, like I spent a lot of time in church.
Yeah.
My mother's a devoted Catholic. Still goes to church religiously, like every Sunday. She's started at Señor de los Milagros. Like she still is very active with that group. But I didn't personally have a relationship with God, and that's like part of my journey now. And comes later in my, I'd say, late 20s, early 30s, because currently I'm a born-again Christian. I attend church weekly when possible, and active as well in church. So, yeah, my upbringing at home, first-generation immigrant. Both my parents are immigrants. My mother's Peruvian, my father's Ecuadorian. So...
Love both those foods and cultures.
Food culture is very similar in some ways. Everyone thinks, or they both think they have good ceviche. But honestly, at home, my mother cooked. Peruvian food is by far better. I think everyone will agree. But home life was different. I mean, I wouldn't say we struggled like other families in Portchester. Like we were well off. Like my parents made sure that we had clothes, we had food, we went on vacations.
Do you have siblings?
I have a brother. I have a half sister from my dad's adventures. And yeah, so I grew up with a brother. Later in life, my two cousins from Ecuador came. I'd say around like our teens, maybe like 15, 16, and we were super close in age that we almost like adopted or kind of took on two other brothers. So there was that kind of dynamic at home as well. But my parents being well established here in America, here in Westchester or in Fairfield County, along with the rest of my mother's family, we did get a lot of people visiting and staying with us for a long period of time. So there was a lot of influence of Peruvian kind of culture, Ecuadorian culture. I still have family in both places. My father actually just moved back to Ecuador. So yeah, but I would say that the home experience in our household on Riverdale was like any other first generation kind of home.
Yeah.
Parents worked all the time. I basically grew up with my grandparents. My grandparents would pick me up from school. I'd stay at their house till I'd fall asleep, and then my parents picked me up super late. So yeah, I mean, I think that really shaped my work ethic first and foremost. Like, my parents just worked all the time. I think that changed a little later in life because they were a little bit more present, or at least that's when my memories kick in. But my parents worked probably 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there isn't a time where I don't remember my parents going out and working on a weekend or a holiday. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of my experience at home or in Portchester too. I mean, to talk a little bit about Portchester, I don't know how much time you've spent there, but
I go to Bar Taco.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Yeah.
nice.
Bar Tacos, first off, that's the original Bar Taco. Let's
It's
just
bomb,
establish
and
that.
I go to Bar Taco there because I like that it's on the water.
Yeah.
Well,
Westport's got a Bar Taco by the water, which honestly, that's better water in my experience.
I mean,
or not,
I haven't
not my
pH
experience,
tested
but
them,
that's just like,
but I'm sure the Westport water might be a little.
no, I'm not even talking about.
mean
It's just a
view-wise?
better view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I'm just fucking with you.
Definitely a better view.
But like, one of the things that you said, like how like you were getting in trouble, like that's something I could totally identify with. And it's funny, like when you're living through that trouble, like I know like a lot of people try to help, or a lot of people try to say it's a cry for help. A lot of people try to say that it's, diagnose you with something. What was that process like for you when you were actually going through it? And if you had to, obviously hindsight's 2020. What do you think was, I don't want to say root cause, but led you to make some decisions that you made early on?
Diagnoses. I don't know if that's a thing in a Hispanic home. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that's later in life, kind of like to talk. Tú eres como un malcriado. Like, that's it. You are a bad kid. And a bad kid gets, I wouldn't say beaten, but they get,
Disciplined.
disciplined. That's the word. That's
Yeah.
actually the proper word. You get disciplined, So there was a lot of disciplining. I think that's a word. Happening. And sorry, what was the question?
Like I personally got
take it?
into a lot of trouble growing up, right?
Yeah.
And if I was being 100% honest with myself and I was looking back, for me, it was really rooted in seeking attention. It was rooted in not feeling a part of, always feeling kind of that I had to prove myself. And the way to get that attention was to do bad things.
Yeah.
And that's what I did, and obviously, if that's my default for a way to get attention, as I grow up, the choices I make get poorer and the consequences get bigger. And that, I came to find that out on my own journey. But really it was rooted on like not being seen, or just like, hey, here I am.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to say, and I think, because I'll tie back to it now, I think it was just curiosity. I think I was just adventure, exploring, like pushing limits. It wasn't for me about attention. I say this very humbly, like I was not the most popular kid, but like I always hung out in the cool crowd. Like when I was younger, a lot of my friends were older. I mean, now I would probably say the same thing. Like a lot of people that I hang out with are mostly older. They're adults.
Yeah.
Even though 30-year-olds act like kids too. But yeah, no, it wasn't. It was less about attention. I hung out with the wrong crowds. I had a lot of older cousins, so I would probably I was probably picking up the wrong things. Like,
Yeah.
I have older cousins that were listening to rap, so hanging out on the street was cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I definitely picked up some of the wrong things that then led to stupid decisions.
Yeah.
That didn't really come through until high school. High school is when I went to Salesian High School in New Rochelle, and that crowd was very diverse. It was an all-boys school. People were coming in from the Bronx, so Burroughs, other like Pelham. So you were getting Yonkers. So that's when I started meeting kids outside of Portchester.
Yeah.
And at that point is when stupid things have started happening. And then once I picked up those stupid things, I brought that back with me to Portchester High School. And at that point gravitated towards some of the similar kids who were interested in some of the similar things. And at that point, it's like, it's what was happening cultural wise. Like hip hop was a thing. Reggaeton was a thing.
Oh yeah.
Right. That a lot of that, like that music culture was really just like taking shape when I was in high school and even into college. So it came with some of the stupid lifestyles.
Yeah.
Which if you want me to get into detail, I could, but like,
no, that's fine.
I think you can kind of
I get it.
piece together
I totally
stories.
get it.
But yeah.
You know, one of the things you were saying also is, you know, as you're growing up, obviously your mom was a woman of faith. You went to Catholic schools. You had that exposure to faith as well. You know, so you end up graduating, and I didn't know that you ever jumped into the medical field, and that's interesting to me.
Graduating college?
You ended up graduating high school
from Portchester High School.
From Portchester High.
Yeah, because
was the medical field your first like?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Dude, the whole schooling system is probably not enough time to talk about it on this podcast.
Yeah.
The whole schooling system is just like the way I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Which is a completely different mindset that I'm currently living in. Like I truly believe that I am living my God-given purpose 100%. Through and through. I believe that. I breathe that every single day, and I give thanks to God every day for it. In high school, what? How the hell was I supposed to know what I wanted to do for the rest of my life in high school? What I went to school, I went to Pace University in Pleasantville, graduated from Pace University in Pleasantville twice. My first, I entered college with the intent of studying business. Business, why? My parents didn't own a business, but together were a business unit. Like my dad did landscaping. He did all sorts, like blue collar stuff, like landscaping, cleaned gutters, painted, didn't really get into trades, but like he was almost like a project manager at like homes in Greenwich. My mother cleaned houses like in Greenwich. So together they were a unit. Like they would do everything from house sit, dog sit, babysit, work parties, from the catering side. So like everything you could do for a family, a wealthy family in Greenwich, my parents were doing it. So I learned entrepreneurship very early on in life. I saw it. That when asked what I wanted to do in college, I was like, okay, business. I think I took a business 101 class and I was like, I don't need to take this. This kind of makes sense already.
Yeah.
So I think that I dropped that pretty quickly. I then shifted over to criminal justice. How much time do we have? School. Shifted over to criminal justice, thinking about being a cop, graduated with criminal justice, psych minor, worked in private security, or I'll call it private security for the sake of the conversation, but Securitas, which is literally down the street, or it used to be. Got hired at Securitas, worked at Bridgewater as a security consultant for a year. At that point, I was like, I don't want to be a cop anymore. A lot of like just like the beating allegations were coming around. My brother's a cop, so I've got good friends that are cops, so I'll leave that there. At that point, I was like, I don't want to be a cop anymore. I have a psych minor. What am I going to do next? Then I started working at Westchester Medical Center in the behavioral health unit. there, that really exposed me to a lot of stuff, dude. Like I'm talking about like lockdown psych units. I worked there for 5 years. 5 years, maybe. In between then, I'm like, okay, what am I doing? I have a degree, I'm not using it.
Yeah.
That point, I'm like, social work, maybe. Let's try that. Went to Westchester Community College, took courses, went into substance abuse counseling. I was a substance abuse counselor for 12 months.
Really?
I graduated.
For what place?
Sansia Wellness. I don't think they're around anymore.
Okay.
I used to be out of White Plains. I interned there, got hired there, helped them open up a second clinic in Yonkers. So I'm doing group therapy with people in Yonkers at Getty Square. You can learn a lot there.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Yonkers. I mean, right? Good friends over there. At that point, I'm like, I'm not doing this, dude. This is social work with case management. Like, you want me to see how many people in a day and then sit down and write charts for those same people in 8 hours? Are you bananas? For how much money?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was thinking about money. Not like that I don't think about money now, because money is money. Money creates opportunity and allows you to do other things. At that point, I'm like, oh, nursing. Cool. I worked with a lot of nurses. Everyone's like, oh, you should be a nurse. Like, you have the personality for it. You have, you're able to build rapport with people, good bedside manner, whatever. I go back to PACE, 1 year accelerated program, graduate, residency program at Yale New Haven Health, spent 2 years there, and then I'm a nurse for 5 years, and then leave that ultimately all behind me. It's been 5 years that I haven't been a nurse.
So, okay, we covered a lot. And, I think I want to kind of...
You could stop me at any point,
No,
too.
it's all good. I just want to extract, because I think what you do, what you've done is actually really brave. I think there's a lot of people who end up doing something. They look at it as like, okay, I invested time into the education. I invested money into the education. Now I'm doing it. They end up staying for a long time and,
Are not
pivoting.
And are unhappy. Ultimately.
And then the next thing
they settle complacency.
Yeah.
The one thing that for me, the common thread is that I tried things. And the same thing goes for a lot of the creative projects that I was part of. So all along that the time that I am working as a psych tech, I'm working as a nurse, I'm in nursing school. Dude, this is my 7th business. I started in production. I launched a media production company in college with 2 friends, 2 fraternity brothers, 2 dear friends. Then worked on a media publication company, folded that into a media publication company. Then went from there, did a lifestyle brand, built a fitness app in nursing school. I was in nursing school, built a fitness app. Owned an art gallery.
Damn.
So the common thread is I tried things. I didn't spend too much time like, I think that's what I want to do. Let me look into it a little bit more. It felt good enough to just jump into it and figure out whether or not I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I started doing then on the school side of things, I no longer do anymore.
Yeah.
I think the kid in me, the curious child that was not truly, and I say this respectfully because like my parents gave me a really great life, but growing up in a first generation home, curiosity is not a thing that is like talked about or like propped up, right?
Yeah.
You're not like, what do you want to be? Like an astronaut or like, like I want to paint, or do you like music, or do you like film? And those are all the things that I do now.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and wonder like, well, what if I picked up music when I was a kid? Not like I play music now, but I do things music adjacent. So for me, it was curiosity. And I quickly learned that I didn't want to be a nurse. I didn't want to be a cop. I didn't want to be a substance abuse counselor. I didn't want to work in any of those industries. But what I did want to do is build business, run a business, something creative. And that is what I do a lot of now.
Yeah, I mean, that's something, I can really identify with, where, I mean, granted, I worked in hospitality for a long time. I worked in restaurants, but I was always trying other things. I worked for an auto parts company. I worked for a financial firm selling financial services. I worked for a furniture company. I worked for all these different industries and was never really happy. So I would end up just fizzling out. And I also come from a similar background where both of my parents are immigrants. My dad was very much like, go to school, get a job, work for a company for 40 years, buy a house in that process, get married in that process.
Retire.
And that was the playbook for the boomers.
Yep.
And I can imagine watching me try, and he would probably say fail, back then at the very least, not now, watching me try and fail and not understanding that I'm just not finding something that I truly want to commit myself to. And now where I'm at, and don't get me wrong, like there were some demons that I had to get off my back as well. Getting, roped into drugs and alcohol, finally having to let go of that, leading into, the tools that I have now to, really build a purpose-driven life. Even in this early entrepreneurship journey, there are a lot of things that I am trying and failing, or I don't even want to say trying and failing because I don't like to say it. My boy Jalen Hurts, he always says, you don't fail, you learn, so same kind of thing. Now I understand that these opportunities that I have, give it a shot. Not only if you're good at it, but if it feels good doing it, I think it is what I prioritize now.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, circling back to what you said before, you said, now you are doing what your God-given purpose is.
Yeah.
And I really want to talk about that. And I wanted to, I was going to circle back to the faith component, the early exposure.
Yeah,
and you alluded to how, while you weren't nearly as immersed into it as your mother was back then, now it's a very huge part of your journey. I know that for a fact also because we have a mutual friend who goes to your church, and you always, even in conversations, you talk about the work that you do with your church. I think having faith is really, really important and, corresponds with purpose. Like, I think if you have faith and you have a guiding light, then you are capable of finding a purposeful way of living. So I want to talk, I would like you to share just your faith journey and how it has helped you to really be grounded in your purpose.
Okay. I mean, my faith journey just continues. I think it's something it's an everyday practice, like prayer. It all started with my parents, so that is one thing that I'm very grateful for, right? There are some homes there are some children right now that don't know God. There's no Bible in the home. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a home where God was present. And not only through what they shared and the church that we attended, the community that we were part of, but the love that my parents showed me is God's love, right? God, you get to know God through people. As God works through your life, as he works through my life, you get a sense of who God is through me, through my kindness, through my gentleness, through my way of forgiving, how merciful I can be, how generous I can be. That's who God is ultimately. Identity comes from God. If spending time with the word, or the word being true, or the truth that matters, the only truth, honestly. And a lot of people are spending time trying to mend the truth for themselves. You get to learn who God is. And the one thing, if you look back to Genesis, which is the first book of the Bible, is we're all made in an image of God. So that then tells you, well, if I am made in an image of God, then if I want to know who I am, I got to learn who God is. So how do I do that? It's just spending time in his word. And the first thing that you learn about God's image is that he's a creator. And in Genesis, he creates the world. So that to me really stuck out when I saw that, okay, I mean, there's all other things that make up God, right? And I've listed some of them. Creator for me is what stuck, and everybody has within them, their God-given purpose is to create. And I'm not saying making a podcast, I'm not saying making music, I'm not saying making film or painting something. We're meant to create in many different ways, and everyone has that ability inside of them. And the only true way to get in touch or to unlock that ability is by building a true, intimate relationship with the Lord. So for me, because that's my truth, my journey, is that as I continue to work on my relationship with my Lord, then I will begin to understand what it is that I need to be doing more of, right? And it started for me when I was a child. I left the church, but God never left me, right? God's always present in your life. He was present in the days that you drove drunk home and you have no idea how you got home. That was him. He was there on the days that you got what you wanted for your birthday. It's something as simple as that. Or or a stranger gave you something. He's in every little detail of life. He is present. For me, I started using a lot of these like trending words like the universe and supernatural and all these buzzwords that are being thrown around. And like, I think people will eventually come to terms with like, hey, that's God, right? Yeah. And I did. It was like around 28, 29, and I was like really exploring like the creative side of me. I was like, wow, I'm meeting a lot of cool people. Like new people were I was being introduced to cool people more and more and more and more. The more I was doing what I found interest in, that's another thing that's important. I found interest in, I was curious to learn more of and wanted to be more involved in it. I started meeting a lot of cool people, and I was like, oh, wow, like this is great. Like the universe is like bringing us together. And then like things were falling into place on that side of like the business or the venture. And it wasn't until my mother-in-law would tell the story, like we attended church with them up in Peekskill. I think there was like an altar call or something. It was like, oh, like if you're ready to surrender your life to God, like come up or just put your hands where you're standing, right? Like very like open, like. And I felt this like pull, and I just lifted my hands. I closed my eyes, and in my head, I was like, I'm surrendering my life over to you. And I haven't looked back since. And I must tell you, like, not that life got easy. There's nowhere in the Bible that tells you that life's going to get easy or easier. There's easier days. There's harder days. And believe me, I'm working more than I was working when I was a security guard or a nurse or in nursing school.
Oh, I know.
Right? But being grounded in my faith, being grounded in his word, when he's present, there is a peace that I get. that I never found in drugs, I never found in women, that allows me to continue to work at the capacity and at the speed that I do. Yeah. It truly, and the things that and I could go on and on. The thing that I ultimately have been praying for, and I think I just am not answering your question, so I'm sorry.
No, you are. You really painted a really good, like, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Quick break to shout out our sponsor, Relive the Moments. Founded by John Lim, they're redefining how we share memories. From tap-to-play photo frames to interactive coasters, they turn ordinary objects into powerful, shareable experiences. Perfect for weddings, events, or milestone moments. Relive, reconnect, reimagine. Check them out at www.relivethemoments.com. Now back to the show. But one of the things that you said in there, you said it early on, you said a lot of people are spending time mending the truth about themselves.
Yes.
And I haven't stopped thinking about that line because I think that's so relevant to my relationship with faith and how my relationship with God and because for me, you also said something where, even in those dark moments when you're driving drunk, when you're doing making poor decisions, God's still with you.
Always.
And there was a point in my life, I come from a Persian Jewish background, right? My dad was Hindu, he's Indian. And, I was raised Jewish, and Christianity has come into my life through my partner and through any girlfriend, frankly, I've ever had in my life. But my relationship with God is really rooted in understanding that it's his will and not mine. And
Amen.
it's really based, obviously, in I reconnected with God when I sought recovery, and I understood that I couldn't do it myself. And I also understood that I was trying to cure loneliness with isolation, which doesn't make any sense. And for me, when I invited God back into my life, it gave me peace of mind knowing that I was never alone. And I just built that relationship off of that. And now I understand that in order for me to have a successful day, maybe pull back a little bit on my will and ramp up a little bit of God's will. And things will usually happen the way they should happen. And it's been really cool when, your perspective shifts in that perspective, because you get out of that mindset of, hey, everything's my fault, that negative self-talk, that I'm not that powerful. And understanding that, I think inviting God into my life allowed me to practice humility, allowed me to lead with gratitude, allowed me to connect with other people who shared similar mindset and really trust myself again, frankly, and trust my gut in knowing that that conscious that you have, that's God talking to you, saying he's not good for you, saying this is a dangerous situation, saying this won't end well. And oftentimes I ignored it because I was navigating with my will, not his. So that's how my relationship has evolved with God. I love how, sometimes you just got to keep it simple, and just like the creator component stuck with you. And now it's something that you lean heavily into, obviously from a professional standpoint, but I also see, and people who I've spoken who know you, you create a lot of joy in their life. They're very fond of you. They understand, and it's cool the way they talk about you, because it's so genuine, and you don't get that a lot with people, sometimes you'll talk to people and, people will be like, yeah, but, or yeah, all right. But like with you, any feedback I've gotten about you, not that I'm running around town asking people about Wilson Beltran, but has always just been like the calamity, the steady hand, and the authenticity that you lead with in any of our interactions And that's something that why I've been so grateful to work on, projects that we're hoping to embark in the future. And I want to talk more about what you do with Space 67 and obviously, upcoming with Lot 48, because now taking that creator foundation, you provide a vessel for other folks to create as well. And it just makes so much sense how, you're so grounded in your God-given purpose, in what you're doing now.
Yeah. Thank you for all of that.
Yeah. Big fan.
That really means a lot. It does. It does really mean a lot. I mean, it's. I'm just processing everything you're saying and the question. The work that I do. It's so hard to answer that question. I make this joke that if there was a job description, if I were to write my job description, it would probably be like 10 pages. Like I mean, I have been fortunate enough to meet Carter Grotta, who has allowed me to essentially take over a business and run it how I see fit. And that's what I've been doing the last 2.5 years. And we've grown tremendously. And have had a lot of fun doing it. I really identify with 3 C's. Child of God, which I'm wearing a hat. Creator, connector, collaborator. I live by those 4 C's every day. I'm either connecting someone or connecting with someone, or I'm collaborating with someone, or I'm creating with someone. And every day I'm a child of God. And I bring that to what we do at Space 67 Studios. So Space 67 Studios, located at 67 Wall Street, Norwalk, Connecticut, 06850. Yes. We are end-to-end production, first production, full production, everything from video, sound, post-production, special effects. I mean, you name it, end-to-end, full service. We work on mostly commercial. We do narrative, documentary. We have a podcast studio. We've expanded our live production. We have a project called Sounds. That's a live music production. So yeah, I mean, we focus on video, photo, commercial production. That's like our biggest set of work. But I mean, we're just creatives all in all. And yeah, Space 7 Studios is an awesome place. You guys should come check it out. Yeah. But we operate on very many verticals too, right? I say we're production first because we also do other things. As you mentioned, we're jumping into what I hope is a very successful partnership in 2026 together into the event space. So we host events too because we are a very unique location, old Fairfield County Bank. So we have 2 existing vaults on the ground floor. Yeah. But then we're also cool. we're also a co-working space. So we have currently about 7 or 8 tenants that sit in our office. So Space 67 Studios takes many forms. I'd say we're production first, and amongst other things, of course. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I've had the opportunity to visit both spaces. I've had the opportunity to go in depth into what we do, and obviously, we're working on our potential partnership. One of the things that has been really cool to watch is the way that you manage relationships. And a lot of the folks who listen to this podcast are entrepreneurs in their own right. And watching you and Carter, honestly, yang and gang a little bit, yeah, was really fascinating to watch.
Mom and Dad,
when we had lunch together, and I think relationships are really important. And let's lean into the connector component of the C because I too consider myself a connector. when it comes to just bringing people together, obviously through events, but also, hey, listen, this person might need this service. I know you're really good at it. I want you to grow too. When it comes to the connector component, talk about just the way you go about it, your attitude, and why it's so important.
I go about it. Honestly, the way I go about it is like we work together. Like I'm a do first kind of guy. I'm gonna work with you. I'm gonna get a sense of who you are. We'll probably start small and then go big. So I need to first know like whether or not you're a good person, whether or not I want to be around you. For me, as of late, like being a believer is important to me, but I understand that there are non-believers, and I understand that my place now is to fill any room with God's presence. And so whether or not you're a believer or not doesn't mean that I'm not going to work with you. So first and foremost is you're professional, like the core things, right? Like you return calls and texts and emails and all that stuff, all the jam. So my first approach is like I vet you. I work with you first, and like if it's a good, experience, then like I could potentially bring you on into future projects if it's available. I don't like to sell hopes and dreams. Like, hey, if there's work, there's work. If you're the right fit, then I'm going to hit you up. If you're not available, there's definitely someone that's going to fit the space. Like, so that's kind of my process when it comes to it. And I've been around long enough and I've done enough of a lot of things to spot BS, right? To really spot whether or not like someone's just full of it. If you're just like selling me on just garbage. Because for me, it's like I won't ask you to do something I haven't done because I probably have done it. And I've done it more than once. So I know what it costs.
Yeah.
I know how long it takes. So yeah, that's like the vetting thing. The connector piece is a big part of our business.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be able to do without a team. And I learned that very early on. I learned that in a restaurant for my first job at Frank's Pizzeria. I learned that as a nurse. And I learned that on the production side, 100%. I wouldn't be able to do it without my DP. I wouldn't be able to do it without my sound op or my grip or my gap. I wouldn't be able to do the cool things that we do without a strong team. So be a nice person and be professional and like, hopefully we'll work together. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's all really about attitude, like how you approach it, whether you're professional or not. But the connector piece is, again, like the only way I'm able to scale, the only way to really do a great job for a client. And that's completely separate from community building, because I consider myself a community builder as well. And that's where like the events and the experiences come from. And I've done a lot of them. Everything from like small art shows to art festivals to live music production. So community building and connecting are two different things.
Yeah.
Because I can build teams and I do it well, or I build events or experiences for then people to connect.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. I think as people, we need people. We need to be around people. This whole iPhone thing, man, it just kills me. The phone, the social media stuff, like just stop. Just like be together, It's what drove me into coffee too, the cafe atmosphere. It's the socializing, right? The intimacy between humans that is lost in some circles.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, no, it does. And I think I agree with you in the connection thing. And obviously, listen, like I do use social media. I do leverage it. I do message over it. And I also need to know when to like dial it back and put it down and lean into real connection and face-to-face connection. And one of the things that's really important for me is also, the cultural component of it. And I'm not talking about, like where we're from and origin. I'm talking about, the culture of the environment that you want to create these spaces. And we were talking a little bit about before we got on, where it's really about leading by example and understanding that, as a leader of a team, your team is going to emulate your behaviors.
Yeah.
And so if you come in with a good attitude and you prioritize clients and you have that we can do it approach, then your team will reflect all of that. So let's talk about a little bit of that, because you also talked, you just talked about how it's so important to build teams.
Yeah. I heard a great thing the other day. Culture is not what you build, is what you tolerate. And that really hit, because it's true. So, people showing up late to work, or people taking, when something's priority, taking their sweet time to respond to something. I lead by example. I'm not a follower, a leader. I've been given authority over my dominion to build kingdom, right? And God's kingdom. You spoke a little bit about this before. Like, it might sound like I'm coming from an I place, but I spend a lot of time praying that everything that I do align with His will. It's not mine. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for Him. And it just so happens that it's fun stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've come to, the discernment that I was given on, like, the opportunities that I've been giving and the rooms that I've been placed in, or the teams that I've been part of, is to talk about Him and His good news. Whether I bring God up, like literally bring Him up, or you get a sense of who He is through me. And that's through the forgiveness, that's through the grace, that's through the generosity, through the loving, like the tenderness that I can show even as a leader, right? Like, Jesus walked with a staff and a rod. It's two in one, right? One to lead and one to protect. So I will protect my team. I will lead my team. But I tend to lead by example. That's my biggest thing. I will never ask you to do something I've never done. I'm not going to ask you to get on this 10-foot ladder if I haven't been on that 10-foot ladder. Best believe I have. But there's things that, that's kind of my thing, is lead by example.
Yeah.
I come from like the school of, if you want it done well, do it yourself. That's my dad. But there's also creating opportunity for people to learn, for people to make mistakes. Like, mistakes are lessons. Mistakes are opportunity for people to build confidence, to build knowledge. So mistakes are good. Our mistakes are okay. In a controlled environment, mistakes should be welcomed. There's like, fine, things happen, so okay, be late. But there's days, and have flexibility. Be lenient. But I don't lead with like a strong fist, or that's not my style of leading. I'm pretty chill.
Yeah.
But the people that I work with and have worked with know, hey man, when it's work time,
It's time to go.
it's time to go.
Yeah.
There's no BSing here, right? There's time for that. I will build that time in. I'll sit down with you. We'll have lunch together. But when it's time to work, bro, it's time to work.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'll be the first one there and the last one out.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's.
Dude, I love that. And, I'm going to pivot a little bit because, I just realized that this episode is going to be dropping the week of Christmas. And,
Nice.
It's
Merry Christmas.
Obviously, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Claudio.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Merry
man.
Christmas.
And one of the things obviously this is a special time of the year.
Very.
You know, it's reflective, it's celebratory, and talk a little bit about, you know, what Christmas means to you. And
It's also hard. It's a hard time for some people.
yeah,
You know, people that have lost loved ones. You know, the amount of friends that have lost a father this year, dude, destroys me. Destroys me. So it's also hard
yeah,
for some people. Sorry. What it means to me. Family's honestly what comes to mind for Christmas. You know, being around the Christmas tree, seeing my grandmother. My grandmother's 96, last one standing. Shout out to Mama Jenny.
Hey.
Family, spending and making as much time as you can for family. And dude, I suck at it. I suck. My wife is so good with that. And she balances me out. Because I'm just like, go, work. That's it, dude. Like, I'm just, you know, and I carve out time. The carve out time for myself is like the gym and prayer and reading and serving at church. But yeah, Christmas, you know, Christmas is celebrating the birth of Christ. Like, that's the reason for the season, right? Like, that's what we do. So come to Harvest Time Church on Christmas Eve. We got 3 services, I think.
I love that. What's your Christmas message?
Quick plug-in. What's my Christmas message?
Christmas or New Year?
Or New Year?
You know?
What's my message?
Yeah.
Just be good to your neighbor. There's just so much turmoil right now. There's so much hate being spewed. Like, I don't know how we got here as a country. I really don't. And I'm not opening this can of worms right now. But like, just be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice this year. Like, you know, say thanks. Open the door. You know, like, ask someone how they're doing and like genuinely have that conversation. How are you doing? Like, what's going on? What's new? You know, how can I pray for you?
Yeah, I love that.
What can I do for you? How can I help you? I think that we need to move to a place where like, how can we help each other?
Love thy neighbor.
Yeah. That's my message. My message is be thankful, of course. Be thankful for family. Be thankful for the many things that you have in life. But also extend a hand. Extend a hand to your neighbor, to a friend, to a loved one. Call that person you've been thinking about. Like, I try to do it. Like, someone pops up in my head. I'm like, look, God put you in my heart today, and I'm just going to call you right now, because if I don't, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm probably in a car.
Yeah. I found that the car is the best time to call you.
It is.
You know,
How many conversations have we had while I'm in the car? Because like,
Dude.
truly, like, the only time as of late opening up lot 48 studios, it's just the car. The car has been my saving grace.
Oh, yeah.
So thank God.
Bro, we're going to wind down. There's 2 questions that I asked.
Okay.
And the first one is going to be, obviously, in theming with the big Finding Purpose sign behind us, which I always allude to for some reason. It's something I do. What does the word purpose mean to you?
Damn, I should have watched more episodes and caught that one. What does purpose mean? Chat,
You
what
should have
does
watched it,
purpose mean to me? What does purpose mean to me? It's the reason why you get up in the morning. It's and everyone has a different definition, and I'm sure you know that, and I'm sure you've heard many answers. But it's like, why you get up in the morning? What motivates you? What interests you? What are you happy doing? What is the one thing or a collection of things that you are happy doing for the rest of your life? That is your purpose.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a job, because best believe there's a handful of people out there that hate their job. They're the 9-to-5ers. They get in right at 9 and they squeeze out right at 5.
Yeah.
That's not your purpose. I challenge you to figure it out and find it. But yeah, it's what you're most interested in, what you mostly love doing. That is your purpose.
I love that. And what advice would you give to somebody on that journey of finding purpose?
What on the journey or to get?
Who might be lost?
Who might be lost? Just try things. Try things. And don't just do it once. Do it a handful of times. Do it a handful of times. Try things. There's an essay by Paul Graham. He started like Y Combinator. And he talks about that. Like how to kind of basically how to figure out like what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And he ties in like how to do great work and all the other things. But yeah, just try things. Like if you're curious enough to look it up, try things. YouTube University, ChatGPT, like ask the question. Ask a person who you see doing what you might like to do. I don't know. Try it. Don't fail, try, or there's no failing, but
Learning.
Just try it. Don't be scared.
You're the winner, you learn.
Yeah. Or you do or you don't. Like truly.
If you can, I'd love for you to talk to my audience, tell them how they can get in touch with you, what you're working on, and whatever you would like to share explicitly with them.
Yeah. So my name is Wilson. Hi. How can you get in touch with me? Oh, I have an Instagram. Can you put it in the show notes?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, all right. Because I'm probably gonna butcher it, but I have a personal Instagram. You could follow it. That's cool. I do a lot of work with Space 67 Studios. We're launching a new studio called Lot 48 Studios. It's at 48 Wall Street, so right down the street from our other studio. It's a creator-first space with 4 pre-built sets, a new psych wall. It's a collaborative space. Notes Coffee Bar, best coffee ever. So hit us up. You can find us at notescoffeebar.com. Upcoming stuff. January 24th, we are hosting the CTTV event at Lot 48 Studios in collaboration with Norwalk Film Festival, Bridgeport Film Festival, Launchpad, Space 67 Studios, Netflix. It is in a full day of workshops for people in production, for people interested in production, and then we're going to host an award ceremony at night and a celebration. So, yeah, that's January 24th. You can get tickets online.
Love that.
Somewhere.
Wilson, I'm super grateful for you coming here, and obviously Merry Christmas to you and your family.
You too, brother.
And
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad, and I'm really excited about what the future holds for me and you with our partnership, and I'm looking forward to everything that is all the gifts that are going to be bestowed in the upcoming year. Folks,
you are the gift, bro. You are the gift.
Love that. Guys, I want to give a thank you to a couple people. Obviously, my guy Claudio here at Kai Visions. This year's been amazing. Merry Christmas to you, Claudio. And
Merry Christmas.
Super grateful for everything that you do. And on my production side, when it comes to just stepping in for events that, I also host, people don't know that Claudio also, will travel to you if you have an event that needs to be covered. But at the end of the day, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be happy to connect you with him. We got a big year ahead for him here at Kai Visions as well. Additionally, I want to thank my sponsor, John Lim here at Relive the Moments. Super grateful. This is a relationship that was born this year. I'm being super reflective in this shout out because a lot of the things that occurred this year wouldn't have been possible without Claudio, without John Lim, without Relive the Moments, and all the time and level of commitment they've shown both me and this platform. So feel free to reach out to me. I can connect you with both of them. I can connect you with Wilson as well. If you are looking to tour the spaces and whatnot, we're excited. And last but not least, Merry Christmas to everybody here who has continued to watch, engage, share, comment. This is what it's about. And I think now is such a, as Wilson shared, such an important time to show up for the people who you love and who love you, and just to be good to people. And I'm really excited about this upcoming year. I'm super grateful for all of your support and excited to further grow this community in the year ahead. So till next time, everyone, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.